Hi folks, you're with Tacitus Today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. In this essay, I'd like to talk about the worldwide, tightly coordinated and scripted globalist method of communicating with the public and of brainwashing the public and of moving the public in whatever direction, moving the Overton window this or that way. And that's by the method of assertion. You simply assert something. And it doesn't need to be factual. It doesn't need to have any basis in fact. You need merely to assert it and then make a claim that's on the tangent or indirect or an oblique reference, and then you associate the two. And I'll do a simple thing. Well, so-and-so politician is Hitler because we know that Hitler drank water when he's thirsty and that politician drank water when he's thirsty, therefore he is Hitler. Done. That's it. So that type of word association and thought association trick that can brainwash the simple-minded, but it's difficult to brainwash the critical thinkers. But given the massive kids in university now are sociology and low IQ kids that are being waved through for purposes of equity, then they are very easy to brainwash. And so if you look at various, say, street marches and demonstrations, or where people on the street are getting interviewed, then there'll be this brainwashing is clearly evident. And so it'll go something like this. What's your concern about the election? Well, I'm concerned because Donald Trump has taken away all women's rights. Women will have no rights. Oh, right. Okay. Well, what rights will be taken away? I don't know. I can't name any. Or, well, you seem sort of very emotionally invested in it, so you must believe that you must have some idea what rights will be taken away. Oh, well, I don't really know. So then there'll be another girl in the group who say, oh, we're concerned because he's a misogynist. Okay, well, what has he done that's he said things once. What things? I don't know. And so the assertion. But if you look at then, go to say a group, a talk group like The View or the British BBC talk groups and so on, something like that. Someone will be invited in who's an activist. They won't be declared as an activist. There'll be the pretense that they're just an independent voice, but nothing like. And they'll say, "Well, I'm concerned about the misogyny," and they'll just all nod along. Yes. Oh, it is a real problem. And then it'll go to just move the conversation along. No one challenges or well, what misogyny are you talking about? The administration has appointed many women into key positions, so that misogyny thing just doesn't stack up. Trump once said that he when he's out on a date, he might grab the woman's ass or something. Well, what's that got to do with misogyny? He's going out on a date. I mean, well, you go on a date with a guy and he doesn't dare touch you. Is that So this idea of assertion. So now there's a number of articles floating around saying that people who voted for President Trump must bear the moral responsibility. And this is a lovely term, because what does it mean? Well, no one knows. They don't know what it means, but it means that somehow it's your fault if anything goes wrong. I mean, what does that actually mean? You bear a moral responsibility. Does that mean that the people who voted for Joe Biden bear a moral responsibility for all the child sexual trafficking that went on? Is that a thing? Well, apparently not. These things only go one way, and they only go in the direction that the globalists want them to. And these people are globalist chills that come out with this nonsense. So I looked at a few pieces that are doing the rounds. Now, this one piece I've got in front of me now, this is one of the biggest media outlets in the world, this particular media outlet, and they're headline billing this piece. Now, the person that penned the piece, and this is in the wider subject of people who voted for Trump have a moral responsibility. So for whatever whatever he does or whatever the administration does. Now, how they tie the two together is elusive, and they don't say. But what they don't say is this: here's a lesbian activist academic who specialises in accusing any non-pro-globalist people of being morally bereft and so on. That's her job. She's a globalist propaganda misinformation shill. But they don't say that. They put her up as an independent academic who's an expert on these matters, and she's not. She's a hysterical activist, and that needs to be. Now, if you put that in the byline, so and so is a far left activist who constantly, accuses anyone, on the Republican side of things as being a fascist Nazi Hitler. Well, then you would have some perspective. But again, they put her up as an academic expert on the subject, which already is propaganda. Straight out of the gate, it's propaganda. Now, if somebody, say, speaks in favour of the Trump policies, they will say that far-right activist and Trump supporter, so, and they'll try and say, well, what they say, it doesn't count. But what this person says, oh, this is the truth. But no, it's not. You're giving airtime to one of the most radical activists on this subject in the world, and yet you don't declare it in a. So this is, again, moral responsibility, and anyone who's voted for Trump or says anything favourable about him or implements any of his policies. So we're already going to 1930s, Central Europe, and this is the woman's a Jewish lesbian, by the way. So we're already going to the Holocaust is they wait a couple of sentences before that's drawn in, but you can already see where it's heading just with that. So they say, well, these people must bear responsibility for, and then his crime, his misogyny. Well, okay, racism, white supremacy, far right, homophobia, and climate change denial, and he's against women's rights and women's reproductive rights. Okay, then the next paragraph is the KKK. And we're only in the second paragraph here, and already the KKK has been invoked, and it took them the third paragraph to get to the Holocaust. So I suppose there is some self-restraint here. But all right, then let's have a look at this. What example of misogyny do you go? It's just declared he's misogynist. All right, then, well, show us the examples. Well, there are none. Okay, he's a racist. What are his examples of? What are the examples of racism? Well, none are given. He's a white supremacist. Okay, well, what examples are given? Where's your proof? You're making this claim. It's a serious claim. I mean, back it up. No, nothing backed up. He's a homophobic. All right, then. Well, show us the homophobic. Well, there aren't any. He's threatening climate change. Well, the scam of climate change, investing in bullshit schemes. But I suppose you could argue that. But then the view of climate change this woman holds is that that climate justice is a big thing for women and lesbians and so on. So it's caught up very much in her activist ideology. And again, she's not declaring her own ideological position here, simply asserting that he's against any climate change mitigation, and thus the planet will come to an end and it's his fault. It's that anti-women's rights. Well, what rights are being taken away from women or denied women? Any? Okay, can you point to any? Just one example. No example given. No supporting facts given that he's denied women's reproductive rights. Well, no, he hasn't. That's simply not true. It's now a matter for the states. So there's nothing there that you could point to. And looking at other articles, I say, well, Trump wasn't in government when the High Court, the Supreme Court rather, returned that to state. But it's his fault because the judges he appointed and this and then it's still his fault, even because and though how can it be his fault? The judges have simply returned it to the states. Well, why? How has any woman been denied rights there? I don't follow. So again, no. Now the disingenuous sort of thing is that it goes straight to the KKK and the Holocaust and so on. But it just rattles off these very ideological, very emotional accusations without giving a single fact. But again, this is given star billing on one of the biggest media outlets in the world, and that these articles of like this are circulating all over globalist media. And again, when you see college kids or many people in New York, for example, being interviewed on the Trump's policy, they say these sorts of things. What's the problem with President Trump? He's misogynist. Well, Joe Biden was having showers with his children, his daughter. Well, isn't that? Wouldn't you be concerned about that? Isn't that something you'd be concerned about? Oh no, it's only bad if Trump does. So it's very much a political and ideological, but it shows how successful the misinformation machine is. Now, once the globalists lose control of that narrative making, narrative spinning, lie telling machine, and they're on the throes of losing that now, and I hope that the Trump administration follows through with really dismembering legacy media, because it's all globalist controlled and very anti-Trump. Once he follows through on that, then the globalist control of the narrative will diminish. They'll try and make up for that by ginning up the globalist narrative control in places like Britain and so on. But Elon Musk is proving to be a bit of a brake on that, say in places like Germany. And so I think the idea of the globalists having such a total control of the narrative so they can come out with nonsense like this, I think those days, and I hope they are coming to an end, and it can't be soon enough. Now, if these sort of articles even get posted at all, I don't mind if then the facts are listed and other politicians, Democrats and so on, are held to the same standard or something. I don't mind. But to hold one people you don't like to the highest standard, tell horrible lies about them, but then ignore the misdeeds of others and conceal their shortcomings, then and to have to invent shortcomings against the people you don't like, then that's the form of narrative and information supply none of us need, and is helpful to nothing. And the quicker it ends, the sooner it ends, the better. Being with Tacitus today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.